Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to create a rendering or export of your floor plan. And you're going to have to do this at least twice for your final project. That way you have something as a source to put in your digital portfolio. So you're going to be creating a rendering of this 2D image that you see here. And you're also going to be creating one of a 3D angle. So when we click on 3D, we're going to angle our house at an angle that you can see pretty much, I'd say, 70% of the house. And from this angle, you're going to also create a 3D image export. But let's do one at a time. So we'll go to 2D. And then after we go to 2D, what you'll do is you got to make sure that right here in this area, you can see the whole footprint of your house. After that happens, the next thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be clicking on Export 2D Image. Click on that. And it's going to ask you all these export questions. Like first, scope, we're going to say current design, title, just leave it as is. Format, it's going to be JPEG, so JPG. Orientation, landscape, images per sheet. Just don't worry about that. Now, when it comes to ratio, what I would say is change it to 16:9. Scale bar, no. Export in 2D. We're going to say yes, and it's going to be scale to fit. And then you got to make sure that it's linked to your email address, because the way this works for exports, it saves it in Floor Planner as an export, but it also sends you an email of it as well, which is kind of nice. It's like a 2-for-1. Once you're happy with everything, you click on export. And so what just happened was it just exported this 2D like thing that you see here. And you're going to see on the top right here, there's a countdown. And it takes approximately, I'd say, around 10 minutes, I believe, for the export to complete and take place until we can finally view it and use it. That's the only thing that kind of stinks about this altogether. But it's going to say, okay, your image is ready. Oh, never mind. I guess what it means is my mistake. After 10 minutes, you can do another export. So right here, you can see your image is ready, see your export, so it'll show up, which is pretty nice. So we can click on this. It's going to take us back to our dashboard, which is pretty sweet. And then right here is our rendering. So it's not going to be super detailed because this is the free version of Floor Planner, but it should be pretty good. Now, if you're not sure how to get to this part, and let's say you are back at the dashboard, what you can always do is you go right over here where it says exports, click on that, and your export will be right here, okay? Now, for your project, you need a minimum of 2 exports. First, you gotta have this top view that we see here of the 2D version. That way I can see how you spaced out all of your rooms, everything from a top view, and how everything's placed appropriately, okay? So once you have your 2D done, export, the next one you want to go into is definitely your 3D. Because the 2D only can show so much, but at the same time, it's a really cool thing, just a cool feature that we can see things in 3D in this program. So 3D is going to show me a lot more detail when it comes to your actual design itself. So here's what I would like you to do for 3D. I want you to take at least a minimum of two 3D shots or exports, if you could. And yes, I am well aware that you got to wait 10 minutes between exports, so just be patient with it. This is the free version, so we got to work with what we got here. One thing I do suggest is, if you can, it's a good idea to maybe back out your field of view maybe a little bit. That way you can see more. But what I want you to do is kind of like put your camera at an angle that you can see a decent amount of the house from one view. So this is an appropriate angle, I think. Looks good to me. So after I'm happy with this, I can see a decent amount of the house this way. I'm going to go up here to export 3D image, fast preview, and then whatever you see inside of this right here is what's going to export. So it might be a good idea just to back off just a little bit. You can also adjust your field of view, but you have to make sure that you adjust your angle before you go any further. After you are happy with what you got there and everything in this like rectangle you see here, that's what will be exported. You'll hit this kind of like button that keeps like, looks like it's getting bigger and smaller, and that's like the button that will export your actual screen and your 3D view. Click on that, and it'll say save changes before updating camera, and just click on update camera. And what's going to happen is it's going to go through and it's going to export another time. Okay? And you should see the countdown clock up here start to go. It'll take a few seconds before you can actually see the export. And like I said before, it'll go to two places. It'll go to your dashboard on the exports where you can see it. It'll also be emailed to you. So you just got to be patient with it, okay? Now, once you get one angle of your house done, what I want you to do is angle it on like a different view so you can see it from a different angle. Like right over here, you can see this side of the house. Yep, see, your image is ready. So we'll click out of that for now. And then once 10 minutes is up and elapsed, I want you to do the same exact thing and take a second 3D shot so you can see this angle of your house. And what I would say is you need a minimum of 3 exports. 2 3D, 1 2D, okay? And just to review, 1 2D where you can see this right here, 1 and 2 3D where you can see one angle and then rotate to another angle, kind of like this. Make sure they're good quality angles, that way I can see a lot of detail and I can give you an appropriate grade. Now, one thing I would suggest is please, when you're doing these screenshots or exports as we call them, stay in this mode right here where you see the orbit. Don't go to the little person here. I mean, I know it shows more detail, but don't go in that view because you're kind of limited for what you can see. Now, if you want to give yourself a better chance of getting a better grade and giving me more documentation for what I can see, what I would suggest doing is try to showcase one room, like a room that you're pretty proud of and happy of. So for me, my one room I think I want to showcase is definitely my bedroom. So what I'm going to do is I can find an angle here, and I'll give you an option. You can either do this showcase photo from the top view from this orbit menu, or if you want to, you can go to that menu, I'm sorry, not the menu, but the mode for where you can walk around, and you can walk into the room. Just make sure that whatever angle you're at here, you can see the most detail. And like I said before, it helps a lot if you adjust your field of view back further. That way you can see more detail. Like right here, I'm backed into a corner. I can see a lot. This would be one heck of a beautiful export right here. Okay? So hopefully this gives you an idea of how to export. In a later video, well, I'm going to take you through the process of taking these exports and putting them into your actual digital portfolio. So stay tuned for that.